أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to Understand Al-Quran the Easy Way, Course 2, page 2.30. Today we are studying the fourth pointer of the page 2. We saw each page has been divided in 4 parts and each part has the 5 pages. The first 5 pages 1 to 5 we are studying in this QC2. It has Surah Al-Fatih and the 37 ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. The next 5 pages, page 6 to 10, inshallah, you will study in QC3, starting with 38 to 76, 39 ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah. The next 5 pages of the first juz, page 11 to 15, inshallah, you will study in QC4, starting from 77 up to 105, 29 ayahs. The last 5 pages of the first juz, that's 16 to 20, inshallah, we will study in QC5, starting with 106 up to 141 in the 36 ayahs. So there are 141 ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah in first juz that we will complete in QC5. These 5 pages which we are studying in this QC2, they have the mentioning of Hadaya, Muttaqeen, Kafirin, Munafiqeen, Da'watul Quran, and the some part of the story of Islam. So let's to keep these pointers on the right hand first finger, that is thumb. So the pointers for the first page are praise for Allah, dua for guidance, guidance for muttaqin, attributes of muttaqin. Once again, praise for Allah, dua for guidance, guidance for muttaqin, attributes of muttaqin. So what are the brief pointers for the page first? Praise, dua, guidance, attributes. Praise, dua, guidance, attributes. Let's to start the page second. The first pointer is no guidance for Kafirin, no guidance for Munafiqeen, because they are corrupt and fools and double-faced. Let's to keep this on the second finger of the first hand, the right hand. No guidance for Kafirin, no guidance for Munafiqeen, corrupt and fools, double-faced. Once again, no guidance for Kafirin, no guidance for Munafiqeen, corrupts and fools, double-faced. Let's to have the brief pointers for the page second. Kafirin, Munafiqeen, corrupt, double-faced. Kafirin, Munafiqeen, corrupt, double-faced. Today we will study the fourth pointer of the page second, that is double-faced. The link with the previous verses is hypocrites are corrupt and fools. Even though they claim to be reformers and smart, Allah continues to describe their behavior. Let's to listen the recitation of these ayahs.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى تجارتهم فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين.
And when it is said to them, behave as the people have behaved, believe as the people has believed, they say, should we believe as the fool have believed? Indeed, they themselves are the fools, but they do not know. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their evil ones, they say, indeed, we are with you. We are only mocking, mean joking. So let's identify the words coming in these ayahs. Wow is a harf, is a zarf. Laku is a madi verb from laka, plural is laku, fail. Allazina is a ism masula. Amanu is the madi verb. We will learn it in QC3. It's a four-letter verb. Amana. Amana and plural is amanu, the past. Because waw alif is the sign of the past. Kalu is again the past verb. Waw alif. Kala, kalu, we have studied this word. Amanna, this is again the madi verb. Amana, amanu, amanta, amantu, amantum, amanna. Next is waw. Waw is a harf, is an ism zarf. Hello. Hello is a madi verb. Khala, hello is a madi verb. Ila is a harf jar. Shiatini is a ism, plural for shaitan. Him is a zamir ism. Qalu again the madi verb because alif, waw alif is telling it's a madi from qala qalu. Inna, it have two parts, in and na. In is a harf, na is a zamir ism. Ma'akum, ma is a ism. Kum is a zamir ism. Innama, again, we take is a harf, innama. Though it has two parts, in is a harf, ma is a ism. But innama come as a individual words also and taken as a harf. Nahnu is a zamir ism. Mustahziun. Mustahziun is a ism. The next, Allah ismi jalala is ism. Yastahziyu. Ya is telling is a mudari verb. We will study it in QC3 because they are the mazid figure. B is a harf, him is a zamir ism, waw is a harf, yamuddu. Yamuddu, ya is telling is a mudari verb. Whom is a zamir ism. Fi is a harf, tughyani. So tughyani mean it's a ism. Fi, because after harf jar there is always an ism that is majroor having a kasra. So tughyani is a ism maksur. Him is a zamir ism. Ya ammahun, this ya is telling ism mudari. Ulaika is a ismu ishara, mean the demonstrative noun. Allazina ismi masula. Ishtaraw. Ishtaraw is the Mahdi verb. We will see it. Ishtara. Ishtaraw is the plural. Ad-dalalata. Alif lam telling is an ism. Moreover, it's a feminine because nonta is there and the singular. Plural is with alif ta. B is a harf. Al-huda is a ism because alif lam is there. Fa is a harf. Ma is coming as a ism mawsula. Rabihat. Rabihat is a Mahdi verb. Rabiha, Rabihu, Rabihta, Rabihtu, Rabihtum, Rabihna, Rabihat is for the family. The next is Tijaratu. Tijaratu is a ism. You have to remember it. It's not the mudari. Hum is a zamir ism. Waw is a harf. Ma is a harf. Kanu is the madir from kana. Kanu, we have done the table. Muhtadeen is a ism. Let's have another look on the same ayahs. Waw is a harf, Iza is a ism, Lako is a madi verb, Allazina is a ism, Amanu is the madi verb, Qalu is the madi verb, Amanna is the madi verb, Waw is a harf, Iza is a ism, Hello is the madi verb, Ila is a harf, Shayatini is a ism, Him is a zamir ism, Qalu is the madi verb, Inna is a harf, in is a harf, and na is the zamir ism. Ma'akum, ma is a ism, kum is a zamir ism. Innama, we take it as a single word, harf, but actually it's composed in and ma. In is a harf, ma is a ism. Nahnu, nahnu is coming as a zamir ism. Mustahziun is a ism. Allahu, Allah is a ism. Yastahziu is the mudari verb. Be is a harf. Him is a zamir ism. Waw is a harf. Yamuddu is a mudari verb. Hum is a zamir ism. Fi is a harf. Tughyani. Tughyani is a ism. Him is a zamir ism. Ya'mahun is the mudari verb. Ulaika is the ismu ishara. Allazina is the ismu masula. Ishtaro is the madi verb. Ad-dalalata is a ism, B is a harf, al-huda is a ism, Fa is a harf, Ma is coming as a harf. Rabihat, Rabihat is a mudari, the madi verb for feminine. Tijaratu is a ism, Hum is a zamir ism, Waw is a harf, Ma is a harf, Kanu is the madi verb, Muhtadeen is a ism. Let's to look the lesson learns from these ayahs. Munafiqeens are double-faced and mockers. Allah is prolonging them in transgression. They are loser and not guided. Look, the new words coming in each line, 2, 1, 4, 4, 1. On average, you can say 2 or less than 3 in each line. Let's go word for word and the phrase for phrase translation and the explanation of the ayahs. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa iza, and when laku, they meet. Wa iza, and when laku, they meet. Allazina, those who amanu, believe. They mean Muslim. Qalu, they say, amanna, we believe. Wa iza, and when hello. Hello mean they are alone. Where ila, with shayatinihim, their evil ones, mean the elders, qalu, they say, inna ma'akum, indeed we are with you. Innama, only. You have learned this word in the QC1. Innamal a'malu binniyat. You learned that hadith. Innama mean only, for only. Nahnu, we are mustahzi'un, mockers. When the hypocrites meet with the believers, they proclaim their faith and pretend to be believers, loyalists, and friends. They do this to deceive the believers because they want to have a share of the benefits and the gains that the believers might possibly acquire. Shayateen mean their leaders and the Jews of the Medina in those times who were working against the Islam. Alif. Let somebody revise it if wants. Okay. Wa iza lakum, and when they meet, Allazina, those who amanu, believe. Qalu, they say, amanna, we believe. Wa iza khalaw, and when they are alone, ila shayatinihim, with their evil ones, qalu, they say, inna ma'akum, indeed we are with you. Innama nahnu, we are only mustahzi'un, mockers. Let's have the next ayah. Bismillah. Allahu yastahzi. Allah mocks bihim at them. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ وَمِنْ and يَمُدُّ prolong them. Fi in tughyan transgression him them there. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ fi tughyanihim and prolongs them in their transgression. يَعْمَهُونَ while they wander blindly. Allah's mocking is that He is letting them live in a Muslim society where they are protected. They may think that they succeeded in deceiving the Muslims, but in the hereafter, He will send them to the hell. Allah, let's revise these parts too. Allah yastahzi, Allah mocks bihim at them. وَيُمُدُّهُمْ and prolongs them fi tughyanihim in their transgression. Yamahun while they wander blindly. The next ayah is Bismillah. Ulaika, those are Allazina, the ones who Ishtarau have purchased Ad-Dalala, error, Bil Huda in exchange for guidance. Fama, so not Rabihat did profit. Tijaratuhum, their commerce, their business. Fama Rabihat Tijaratuhum, so did not profit their business or cargo. Wa and ma nor kanu they were muhtadin guided. Wa ma kanu muhtadin and they were not guided. They are ultimately loser because they will end up in an eternal hell. Obviously on the wrong path and therefore they were not guided. Don't ever call someone munafiq. Only Allah knows what is in the heart of that person. Let's worry about ourselves. Check the deficiencies in us. Advise others without any feeling that you are great. Alim, let's revise this ayah too. Bismillah. Ulaika, those are Allazina, the ones who Ishtaraw dalala, have purchased a dalala, error, bil huda in exchange for guidance. Fama rabihat, so did not profit tijaratuhum, their commerce. Wama kanu, and they were not muhtadin, guided. So let's to have a lessons once again for these ayahs. Munafiqeens are double-faced and mockers. Allah is prolonging them in transgression. They are loser and not guided. Let's to make a prayer. Oh Allah, make me a true believer. Help me deal with the people sincerely. Make a plan. Inshallah, I will never mock any person. Look, the asma coming in this ayah. Shaitan, plural is shayateen. Mustahziyu, plural is mustahziun, mustahziin. Muhtadin, plural is muhtadun and muhtadin. Look, the three letters sound verbs. Amiha, ya'mahu, ihma. Ame dash amha. And mimha is the root letter babi samya. Here it is ya'mahun. It's mudare. Ya'mahu, plural, add vowel, ya'mahun. And then rabiha, yarbahu, irba. Rabi, marbu, riba. Rabaha is the root letter babi samya. And here we see rabihat is the feminine madi. Rabiha, rabihu, rabihta, rabihtu, rabihtum, rabina, rabihat. So this is a table of Amiha. Let's to look that table. Amiha, he blinded. Amihu, they blinded. Amehta, you blinded. Amehtu, I blinded. Amehtum, you all blinded. Amehna, we blind. Amihat, she blind. Yamahu, he blinds. Yamahuna, they blind. Tamahu, you blind. Amahu, I blind. Tamahuna, you all blind. Namahu, we blind. Tamahu, she blinds. Ihma, blind. Ihmahu, blind you are. La tahma, don't blind. La tamahu, don't blind. Amihun, blinder, dash, amhun, to blind. The next one is Rabiha. Rabiha, he profited. Rabihu, they profited. Rabihta, you profited. Rabihtu, I profited. Rabihtu, we all profited. Rabihna, we profited. Rabihat, she profited. Yarbahu, he profits. Yarbahuna, they profit. Tarbahu, you profit. Arbahu, I profit. Tarbahuna, you all profit. Narbahu, we profit. Tarbahu, she profits. Irbah, profit. Irbahu, profit you all. La tarba, don't profit. La tarbahu, don't profit you all. Rahbe, the profiteer. Marbuh, marbuh, the one who profited. Rib, to profit. Among the weak verbs is ala, yakhlu, ukhlu, khalun, khalun, or khalin dash khulu. Here it is khalu. Khalu is a madi from khala, khalau. Khala, he isolated. Khalau, they isolated. Khalau, you are isolated. Khalau, I isolated. Khalau, you all isolated. Khalau, we isolated. Allah, she was isolated. Yakhlu, he isolates. Yakhluna, they isolate. Takhlu, you isolate. Akhlu, I isolate. Takhluna, you all isolate. Nakhlu, we isolate. Takhlu, she isolates. Ukhlu, isolate. Ukhlu, isolate you are. La takhlu, don't isolate. La takhlu, don't isolate you. Khalin, isolated. Dash. Khulun or khalwatun, to isolate. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome to understand Al-Quran the easy way, course 2, page 2, pointer D. In grammar today we will study a table of weak verb hada. Hada is a weak verb because it has the ya in it. The typical table which we do for all tables in grammar, that is fa'ala, he did. Fa'alu, they did. Fa'alta, you did. Fa'altu, I did. Fa'altum, you all did. Fa'alna, we did. And the mudari is yaf'alu, he does. Yaf'aluna, they do. Taf'alu, you do. Af'alu, I do. Taf'aluna, you all do. Naf'alu, we do. And the amar is if'al, do. If'alu, do you all. La taf'al, don't do. La taf'alu, don't do you all. Fa'il, the doer. Marful, the one who is effective, field. So this table is a typical table for all the sound verbs tables. We take it a typical table for all the sound verbs. Now, the weak letters, we know there are 3 weak letters. What are they? Waw, ya, and alif. They are the weak letters. Any verbs in which they appear, either 1 or 2, that will be called weak verb. Just like wahaba, it's a weak verb. Why? Because waw is there. Qala, it's a weak verb. Why? Because alif is there. Hada is a weak verb because ya is there. So when a weak verb comes, we have to remember 3 things about it. First of all, their tables, they follow the styles of sound tables, just like Fataha, Yaftahu, Nasara, Yansuru, Daraba, Yadribu, Samia, Yasmu. So all the weak verbs, they are also follows this on the same pattern. Either they will be on the pattern of Fataha, or they will be on the pattern of Nasara, or they be on the pattern of Daraba, or they may be on the pattern of Samia, depending on the letters they belong to which bar. The second point is that the weak letters, they are weak. So what they do, sometimes they appear, especially in Amar. When Amar is making, the letters are disappear. Or they change with each other. They may change with each other. The waw may get changed with the ya, or ya may change with the waw. In the same way, the alif may change with waw or ya. So this is possible because they work in a team. They support each other. So we should take lessons from them. The third point which we should remember regarding the weak letter is when in the first form of the Mazi you see a alif or alif appears. If alif appears, you must understand that it is not conditional. Alif is never a part of root letter, though it appears in the verb. When you see its alif in the first form of the verb, just like qala, there is a alif. Da'a, there is a alif. Zada, there is a alif. Kada, there is a alif. So it means either this alif is coming in place of waw or in place of ya. So look the words qala, there is alif. Da, there is alif. In both these verbs, alif has come in place of waw. In case of kada and zada, you see there's alif is appearing, but actually it's ya. How we say it's waw or ya, we look at the root letters. The root letter of kala is kaf, waw, lam. And the root letter of da is dal and waw. It means the kada, the da and kala, they actually are having this waw in place of alif. If we look the root letter of the kal, this kada, that is kaf yadal. And if we look the root letters of zada, that is zayadal. It means the root letter showing the alif in kal and da is coming in place of waw. It is coming in place of waw. And in case of kada and zada, the alif is coming in place of ya. So the root letter, they tell you in which place the alif is coming. In waw, or it is coming in the place of ya. So these are the 3 points must be remembered regarding the weak letters. So how we memorize their group? For the sound where we say, open the Quran, Fatah. Allah will help you, Nasara. Otherwise, you will hit Daraba. Therefore, listen, Samia. So Fataha, Nasara, Daraba, Samia, we say they are the sound forms. For the weak word, we remember 3 sentences. The first sentence is Allah will give its promise. From word give. Verb is wahaba, meaning he gave. Promise, wa'ada, he promised. The second sentence is, in fact, he said he will give more. From the word said, the verb is qala, he said. From the word give more, the verb is zada, he increased, he gave more. The third one is, therefore, pray to him for guidance. When we say pray, from the word pray, we get a word da. And from the word guidance, we get a word wahada. Hada means he guided. Da means he prayed. There is a fourth sentence called have a good opinion, otherwise you will lost. From the word good opinion, we have a verb zanna, the opinion. Got lost, dalla, he got lost. There is another verb called the Hamza verb, amara salakra. So you have got 4 types of the verb, or 4 groups of the verb, 4 kinds of the verb. One is the sound verb, just like fataha, nasara. The second one is the weak words, just like wahaba, wada, Allah, zada, da, ada. Of course, wasiya, sha'ara, they are also. And the third one is the repeated letter verb, just like zanna, dalla, massa. And the fourth one is the hamza. Here we have to be very careful regarding the repeated letter verbs. Normally, people make mistake here. So what is that mistake? Let's do learn it. Suppose the total alphabetic in Arabic, they are 28. and some say they are 29. And the difference of this opinion based, those who say they 29, they say Alif and Hamza is the one. And those say 29, they say Alif is separate and Hamza is separate. Whatever they may be, either 28 or 29, out of them, 3 are the weak letters. If we minus them, if they are 28, suppose, so we got 25 words, letters. If we suppose they are 29, so we get 26. Whatever the case may be, either it is 25 or 26, they are the sound letter. What are they? They are the sound letter. And what is the weak letter? You know, the weak letter are these 3 are the weak. Till here, you are clear about that? What is weak letter? What are sound letters? Out of 28 alphabet, 25 are the sound, 3 are the weak. If we say, okay, they are 29 alphabetic in Arabic, then we will say 26 are the sound, 3 are the weak. Okay. In next step, look, if any 2 letter out of these sound words come at the end, any sound 2 letters come at the end, just like zanna. When we say zanna, it have zod, noon, and noon. That is zanna. This noon is sound letter. It's not the weak letter because weak letter are waw, ya, alif. It is not waw, ya. Look, there is another, the la. Again, it have shad. It means it have the dwad and lam and lam. So this lam, lam, they are the sound letter. Say there is a word radda. Again, shad on dal. The root letter will be ra, dal, dal. There is a word madda. Again, 3 letter will be what? Meme and dal and dal. So again, dal, dal, lam, lam, noon, noon, they are all the sound word. They are not. So we call they are the repeated letter. Which are the repeated letter verb? When the sound verbs are there in a verb. 2 sound verb letter. 2 sound letters come, that is repeated. Now, if suppose I have got a word hayya, there is a shad on ya. So its root letter will be ha, ya, ya. Now you see, there are also 2 letters coming, so it should be the repeated letter. No, because they are not the sound letters. The repeated letter belongs to the sound letters. This belongs to the weak letters. So they can't be claimed as a repeated letter. Though they are repeating themselves, but they are weak. So it will be weak verb. Weak verb mean any verb which have the weak letter, either single or double weak letter. Suppose if it was who, mean ha, wow, wow. Still it is weak verb. It's not the repeated letter. The repeated letter word is fixed for these sound letters. Is it clear to you all? What is the sound letter? What are the weak letters? And what is the main difference in the repeated letter group? The repeated letter group belongs to all sound letters repetition. They don't cover the weak letters. Weak letters have been separated from the whole group. So they count. They may have the repeat letter among the weak letter, but that is not brought this group into this. This is not brought to here. So that is the main difference which we have to consider while we are grouping the words for our easiness, for our memory, or for our learning, or for our understanding. So you should be clear, there are four types of verbs. The sound verbs, what are these sound verbs? Just like these. The weak verbs, like this. The repeated letter verbs, like this. The Hamza letter verbs, this. So they are four groups. Sound verbs, weak verbs, repeated letters verbs, and the Hamza. Of course, if the repeated letters are weak, maybe double alif, maybe double ya, or double waw, or maybe anyone weak letter. That is not counted in the repeated letters. They are the sound letters repetitions. The sound letters may be, for example, lam, dalla, lam is, zanna, nun is, madda, dal is, radda, the radda, dal is there, hakka, kaf is coming. There are so many, maybe come, but they don't cover the weak letter repeated. So this usually comes in the questions. There will be given us some weak letters having double. And you will ask, okay, tell is it a sound verbs or a repeated words or the Hamza verb or the weak verb. You look, there are two letters coming, not thinking they are both weak letter. You say it's repeated. Of course, that's a wrong answer. So what happened? You marks it. You lose the marks. When you lose the mark, then you have a very discouraging point. I did this right. Look, they are two letter and the computer. But so now I am sure you people will be clear about this. So the sound words were Fataha, Nasara, Daraba, Samia. And the weak words were Wahaba, Wada, Qala, Zada, Da, and Hada. And the repeated were Zanna, Dalla. And the Hamza were Amara, Sada. Today we will study a weak verb that is Hada. Hada is a very special verb, remember. Just like Fa'ala is a special verb because the table of Fa'ala is taken as a typical table for all the sound verbs. The same way, the Hada table is taken as a standard table for the weak verbs. The mother table of the weak verbs is Hada, and the mother table of the sound verbs is Fa'ala. So they are the typical tables. They are the exemplary table for the both groups, the sound verbs and the weak verbs. So let's start with the Hada. Hada, he guided. Hado, they guided. Hadaita, you guided. Hadaitu, I guided. Hadaitum, you all guided. Hadaina, we guided. Ah, that's she guided. Now note there, ha, dalia, these are the three root letters. Hada, hado, hadai, 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 hadai. No dhamma anywhere on the root letters. Of course, you will say there is a dhamma on the hadai, tu, ta, tum. The ta, tum, they are not the part of the root letter. They are the zamair attached with the verb telling who is doing the verb. If I remove this dhamma, then I don't know who is doing the verb. If I remove this dhamma, I'm not sure who is doing the. So this is the dhamma of the zamair, which is ta, fata, ta, dhamma, ta, kasra, ta, sakin, na, tum. They're dhamma. The actual root letters, they all from starting from the hada till ha, da, ha, that. There is no dhamma on the tree. That is the specific point to be noted because this is the typical table for all the weak verbs. We will follow the weak verbs, especially in the QC3 mazid fi. When we will start the weak verbs of the mazid fi, this hada table will be repeated there, complete table, to give a concept that all the weak verbs, either they are 3-letter or 4-letter, their mother table pattern or the typical table is the hada. Let's have questions. Al hada, has he guided? Normally we answer this question nam, but no, the hada guidance is not the job of any creature. It is the creator's job. It's the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who guides. So he will say with negation, mahada. Hal he guided? Has he guided? We say no, he has not. Who has guided? Allah has guided. Hal hadao, have they guided? We will say mahada, they have not guided. Hal hadaita, have you guided? We will say ma hadaitu, I have not guided. Hal hadaitum, have you all guided? Ma hadaina, we have not. Now look here again. This is a typical pattern which we are following. What is that? When the hada come, in answer it remain hada. When the hadao come, it's remain hadao. So in this group, the first two, the third person, there is no change in the answer question. Of course, hal is replaced either by nam or ma in Madi. But the main word will remain same, hada, hada, hadao, hadao. But when you come to this hadaita, it is replaced with hadaitu. When you come hadaitum, it is replaced with hadaina. So what is the change? Change is that this fata is changed with this dhamma. This thum is changed with na. That is the main learning of these Arabic spoken or the dialogues or the conversation. The change is always in this part. Hadaita will become hadaitu. Hadaitum will become hadaita. While the third person, they don't change. This is the second person, you know. This is the second person. And this is the first person. And this is the third person. So in third person, there is no change. In second person, when come, the answer is from the first person. When it is singular, the answer will be singular. Plural, it will be plural. Now, another important aspect which I want to be emphasizing, you must aware, you must have learned so far in QC1 also, that of course, till QC5, you will continue this. That is understanding of this. When the question is hadaita, the answer is hadaitu. When the question is hadaitum, the answer is hadaina. Isn't so? It's like that. But when the question is from hadaitu, the answer will be hadaita. When the questions come with hadaina, the answer will be hadaina. Mean, when we say hadaita as a question, the answer should be hadaitu. When we say hadaitum as a question, the answer should be hadaitu. But on the other hand, if we say question is hadaitu, the answer should be hadaita. If we say the question is hadaina, the answer should be hadaitu. While in case of this third person, it's no change at all. Hada, hada, hado, hada. If you change even the question, the word is the same. No change. The change is always in the second and the first person. If the question is from the second person, answer will be from the first person. If the question is from the first person, the answer will be from the second. This is the important aspect of learning of this dialogue or the Arabic spoken or the mainly conversations. So we learn three things from here. First, we learned that the third person, no change. The change always comes from the second person or from the first person. If the first person coming is, the answer will replace. If the question is second person, answer will be first person. If question is singular, it will be singular, plural. If the questions come from this, the answer will be that. If the questions come from this, the answer will be that. So that should be the most important learning, understanding of the dialogue or the spoken or the. Let's have another example. To make the mudare, we said they follow the pattern of fataha, yaftahu, nasara, yansuru, daraba, yadribu, sami. How? Hada. We place in front of fatah. Look, the mudari of fatah, it have a fatah in the mid. So hada, yahda. Why it's alif? Because the fatah demand there should be alif in front. It's the was ya. So we change it according to the rule. What is the rule? Let's learn this rule. When there is a fatah, it want after should be a alif. When there is alif, it want there should be a fatah before. When there is a dhamma, it demand there should be a waw after it. When there is a waw, it wants there should be a dhamma before it. When there is a kasra, it demands there should be ya before it, or ya demand before it should be kasra. So this was ya. When we put a fatah for the mudare, so what happened? The alif demand come from the fatah sign. So we give this fatah to this one. Okay. Same way now you will look the other one, other example. When we put the hada in front of nasara, it needs dhamma. So when the word will come in front of it, it will have dhamma. Yahadu. Note there is another change. What is that change? It was hada. Now it become hadau. Why it's become hadu? Because dhamma demand there should be waw after it. Or waw demand before it should be a dhamma. As the fatah was demanding there should be alif. Or alif was demanding there should be fatah before it. Now when we put in front of this hada, it has kasra. So mudare will have the kasra. Let's see what happened to that. Yahdi. The kasra demand after it should be ya. And ya is actually there. So no change. You don't feel any change because ya was already there. But here in these both cases, the ya has been replaced with alif and ya has been replaced with waw. Why they are replaced? You must now understand because this fatah demand alif, dhamma demand waw, kasra demand ya. Ya was already there, so no change. But still there is a change. What is the change do you see in this case? What change you see in this? There is a change, I must say. Though apparently you can't recognize. Change is there. Change is there. Look this word carefully. It is ya without doubt. Dot. This ya has two dots. Remember in Arabic, when ya has two dots, this is actual ya. When there is no doubt, dot, this sign, then it is symbolic ya. This is the symbol area, but actually there is no ya there. That represents the symbol. Actually here was ya. Ya is always represented with the two dots. So with this we have concluded this mudare. Of course, it can't be from the samya because samya needs a kasra. There is no kasra, so it can't be made. So The three possible form of mudare may be from fataha, nasara, darba. So we see what the Arab use. Arab use hada yahdi. So we'll take the mudare yahdi and develop a table. Yahdi, he guides. Yahduna, they guide. Tahdi, you guide. Ahadi, I guide. Tahduna, you all guide. Nahdi, we guide. Tahdi, she guides. Now look, it is on the pattern of daraba yadribu. Hada yahdi is on the pattern of daraba yadribu because it have the kasra in the mudari. So daraba yadribu is the pattern for hada. Yahdi, he guides. Yahduna, they guides. Tahdi, you guide. Ahdi, I guide. Tahduna, you all guide. Nahdi, we guide. Tahdi, she guides. So let's have a dialogue. Hal yahdi, as we say hada yahdi, it's the job of creator, Allah. So we say negation. La yahdi. Hal yahduna? La yahdi. Look, in third person, no change. Yahdi is replaced with yahdi. Yahduna replaced with yahdi. Let's come the second person. Hal tahdi. The answer will come from the first person. La ahdi. Hal tahduna. The answer will come from person. La. Suppose if it were the question there. Hal ahdi. The answer will be la tahdi. Hal nahdi. The answer will be la tahdi. So they can be replace each other in the question answer. But their pair is sure. The first person with second or second person with first person in answer. It's a normal conversation. If I ask what's your name, you will not say your name is that. You will say my name because this is a conversation pattern. If I say, who are you all? You will not say, who are you? You will say, we are. So that is the pattern of the conversations. The first person when puts a question, the second person replies. When the second person puts a question, the first person. That is the main learning of this. It's the Hal Yahdi Ahda. Has he guided someone? Of course. It's the creator job. So we'll say La Yahdi Ahda. Because in Mudare we use La for the negation. Hal Yahduna Ahda. La Yahduna Ahda. Hal Tahdi Ahda. La Ahdi Ahda. Hal Tahduna Ahda. La Nahdi Ahda. So Amar is always from Mudare. Hada Yahdi. We remove the sign of Mudare. We put the Sakun at the last. This was already Sakun. And moreover, when the weak verbs come for Amar, they disappear. So we are left Ha and Dal. Ha is Sakin, can't be put. So we put a Hamza in front. So Ehdi. Why it is Ehdi, not Ehdu or Ahdi? Because we look the second part. If the second part, it has a kasra, we put a kasra. Suppose if it has a fatha, it will still have a kasra. Suppose it has a dhamma, then of course it will have the dhamma. So this is the rule of, this is called Hamzatul Wasal. Wasal means joining. The Hamza which we join in Amar, in three letter, in the case of three letter word, there is always either kasra or dhamma. Never fatha. When will be kasra? When there is kasra on the second letter, or when there is a fatha on the second letter. In both these cases, it will take kasra. When there is a dhamma on the second letter in Mudare, then it takes the dhamma. So that is the rule of Hamza. The Hamza wasli will have either kasra or dhamma. No fatha for the three letter verbs. That is the rule. So here it takes the ehdi kasra. So let's revise the table for the Amr. Ehdi, guide. Ehdu, guide. Lah tahdi, don't guide. Lah tahdu, don't guide. Hadin, the one who guides. Mahdi, the one who is guided. Hudan or hadaya, to guide. So hada, he guided. Hadaw, they guided. Hadaita, you guided. Hadaitu, I guided. Hadaitum, you all guided. Hadaina, we guided. The mudari, yahdi, he guides. Yahduna, they guide. Tahdi, you guide. Ahdi, I guide. Tahduna, you all guide. Nahdi, we guide. Tahdi, she guides. Ihdi, guide. Ihdu, guide you. Or la tahdi, don't guide. La tahdu, don't guide you. Hadin, the one who guides. Mahdin, the one who is guided. Hudan, hadaya, the guidance are to guide. So the six keys are Hada, he guided. Yahdi, he guides. Ihdi, guide. Hadin, the one who guides. Mahdun, the one who is guided. Hudan or Hadaya, the guidance or to guide. So this is the typical table for the weak verbs. Hada. So this, look, the importance is that in Mahdi, there is no Dhamma on the root letters. In Mudare, Dhamma come back for the plural. Yahduna, tahduna. Same way, the Amr, ihdi, ihdu, and the file, hadin, hadun. So Dhamma come back in Mudare, Amr, and the file. But in Mahdi, there's no. So that is the typical table. Let's to translate. And for every nation is a guide. And mean what? Likulli. Every nation, likulli, come, hadin. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us the right path. Hal hadaytum ahada. As the hadayat is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will say la or ma. It's Madi. So hadaytum is the Madi. So we say ma hadaytum. So on the pattern hada there is a verb jaza. Jaza, he rewarded. Jaza, jaza, jazaita, jazaitu, jazaitum, jazaina, jazat. Yajzi, yazuna, tadzi, yazzi, tazuna, nazi, tazzi. Itzi, izu, la, tadzi, la, tazut, jazim, mazim, jazam. So this is a table. Jaza, jazaw, jazaita, jazaitu, jazaitum, jazana, jazat. Yajzi, yazuna, tadzi, azzi, tazuna, nazi, tazzi. Itzi, izu, la, tadzi, la, tazu, jazim, mazim, jazam. So today we have completed the hada. We have done Wahaba, Wada, Kala, Zada, Da, Yadu, Hada, Yahdi. So this is the sound verb, Fataha, Nasara, Daraba, Samya. Weak verb, we did Wahaba, Wada, Kala, Zada, Da, and Hada. So we have completed our these six weak verbs. Now, the any word which is a meaningful words in the Arabic is called Kalima. It has three forms. Ism, fail, harf. You know ism. Let's talk today the fail or the verb. Fail or the verb is that which tells something about the action and the time. How you identified the verb. If in the beginning of a word you find this ya, ta, hamza, noon, sin, sofa, alif, sin, ta, kat, that is the sign. At the end, if you find ta with fatha, ta with kasra, ta with dhamma, ta with sakin, and nun mushaddid with the shad, that is the sign of fail verb. Look in the beginning, ya, ta, hamza, nun, sin, sofa, alif, sin, ta, tad. Let's have their example. Ya'budu is fail because ya is there. Ta'lamu is a fail because ta is there. A'uzu is a fail because in the beginning we find a hamza. Nakhluku is a fail because we find a nun. Sayakulu is a fail because we find a sin. Sawfa ta'lamun, it's a verb because sawfa is infinitive. Istaghfara is a fail because alif sin ta is inferred. Kad aflah is a fail because kad is inferred. Let's have the end examples, just like ta, fatha, ta, kasra, ta, dhamma, ta, sakin, nun, sakin. Khalaqta, the ta at the end telling is a verb. Kunti, ta with kasra is telling is a verb. Zalamtu, ta with dhamma is telling is a verb. Kasabat, the ta sakin is telling is a verb. Nun mushaddad, lanna, nun sakin, the mushaddad telling is a verb. Ananta, the ta with fatha is telling is a verb. Kharajta, ta with fatha is telling is a verb. Sadakat, the ta sakin is telling is a verb. So the sign may be either at the end or maybe front. Let's to revise quickly the questions. Shaitan here refers to the leaders of the hypocrites and the Jews of Medina. وَإِذَا لَقُوا mean and when they meet. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا mean but when they are alone. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ mean and he prolongs them. فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ mean in their transgression. Don't ever call someone oh munafiq. Munafiqs are double-faced loser and mockers. Rabiha mean the three verb key Rabiha yarbahu irbah. The fail mudari of the khala is yakhulu. Shaitan plural is shayateen. Jazaitum mean you all rewarded. Wayahdihim and he will guide you or he guides you. Yahdi is a mudari, so the present and future tense. Nahdi mean we guide or we will guide. It is also the mudari. So two translations. They guide mean yahduna. Wasanazil shakirin and soon we will reward the grateful. Hal yahdikallah. The answer is nam yahdi in Allah. Ka will change into ya. هل جزاهم الله خيرا؟ نعم جزاهم الله خيرا. هل هل الهداية من الله؟ نعم الهداية من الله. The three noun keys of hada is hadin, madun, hidayah. The jaza three verb keys are jaza, yazi, izzi. So let's to pray. May Allah help us to recite, understand, ponder, implement, propagate, and memorize the Quran. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك اللهم اغفر لنا قبل الموت وارحمنا عند الموت ولا تعذبنا بعد الموت ولا تحاسبنا يوم القيامة إنك على كل شيء قدير. Allah Hafiz. If you people have any questions, your questions are welcome.